Welcome to the Magical Traveling Moms podcast, where your hosts, Tina and Colleen, talk about all things travel. From theme parks to cruises to all-inclusive resorts and more, they cover news, tricks, and insider tips to inspire your travel dreams. They love to travel and want you to love it too. Find out their best-kept secrets and learn how to make your next vacation extra magical, right here on the Magical Traveling Moms podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Magical Traveling Moms podcast. My name is Colleen and I am joined today by my amazing and beautiful co-host Tina. And today's episode is all about planning a multi-generational vacation. We're actually doing a series over the next few months where we explore this popular new travel trend and how you can plan one for your family. And today we are specifically discussing our favorite vacation options and destinations that we think are a good fit for multi-gen travel. But before we get started, we want to take a moment to say a little something about our fabulous sponsors, Mystical Dream Travel. Mystical Dream Travel is a full-service travel agency specializing in all things Disney, Universal, cruises, all-inclusive resorts, Hawaii, so much more. So if you are ready to plan your next family vacation, multi-gen vacation, couples getaway, honeymoon, whatever you want, be sure to reach out to the fantastic agents over at Mystical Dream Travel. You can find them at mysticaldreamtravel.com or look them up on social media. Hi, Tina. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Colleen. How are you doing?
Well, I'm fighting a little bit of a cold,
Yes.
So my voice is a little raspy, but 'tis the season when you have kids in school. So
Catching all their cuties.
Yes. I know. I'm just glad it's only a cold. It's not anything more serious. So, but it's when my voice sounds a little scratchy today. But so I'm so excited about today's topic and our series that we've been doing. We just announced it last month in January. So this is like our full real kind of episode about it. And I thought we could start off by just doing a brief review of what multi-generational travel is. And
yes.
What is it? And I don't necessarily know, it's not like a new thing, but I do feel like in the last couple of years, and I don't know if it's just because of the pandemic or whatnot, but it's becoming more popular and it's something we have seen happening a lot more than maybe it did before. But multi-generational travel is basically, when you go on vacation with family members from the different generations in your family. So grandparents taking grandkids, or maybe grandparents and the parents and the kids, and aunts and uncles, like a family reunion kind of trip. But there's definitely been a push, I think, in the last couple of years for people to really think about, like, what do they want to do with their families and create memories and bond over shared experiences. And that's one of the things, that's why it's led to this becoming like a popular trend, that a lot of families are wanting to go on vacation with their extended family and share that experience together, which I think is amazing.
No, I agree. I think that it's always been a thing, but I think it's, like you said, it's becoming more and more popular. And we see on our end that more and more families are wanting to travel together, but not just go to a regular beach vacation in a beach house. They really want to go somewhere where they're creating amazing memories and experiencing and things that they've never gotten to experience, and getting very immersive into those experiences. So it's definitely something that we have been seeing a lot of. And I think it's great. I'm with you. I think it's wonderful to be able, because it's always fun to travel with people. Although sometimes you may say, I will never travel with them again. But you learn who you can travel with and who can. I will say that. But I think that you really, it's opportunity not just to travel to these amazing destinations, but to really get to know each other as a family and really bond. So. And I know we have done it personally. I know you have done it as well. And it really does create an amazing experience and memory. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it goes along with how we've also noticed a trend in people really going for those bucket list vacations. And I really do think the pandemic is part of the reason. Like, I think people became more aware of like, hey, life is short. We might not have time to do this later. If we're going to do this, we should do it now. Seize the moment, seize the day, whatever. So,
right, exactly.
Yeah. But, today we're going to be talking about destinations and vacation ideas that we think are a good fit for multi-gen travel, because not every option I think is, like, I think if you want to choose a destination that has something for everyone, no matter what age, from the little kids all the way up to the grandparents, and is something that's easy to share as a large group of people. So we have a few things to discuss that I think are good vacation options for a multi-gen trip. So the first one that I have down is actually Walt Disney World. And I put this down, and I don't think necessarily Walt Disney World is one that maybe immediately comes to mind to people, but personally, I think I've noticed a lot more grandparents wanting to take their grandchildren, and often like their whole families, Walt Disney World. Like this has been like a huge trend that I've seen in the last couple of years. And I don't know if it's because, and a lot of them have said to me, we want to do it now because we might not be able to do it later, like we want to do it while we're still physically capable, because it is a lot, it is, physically intense, there's a lot of walking. And so I feel like a lot of grandparents have come to me and been like, we want to take our whole families to Disney and do this big once in a lifetime family trip to Disney with all of us. And which I think it's amazing. And they have such a great time.
No, I agree. I actually think Walt Disney World makes a great trip for a multi-generational family, for a multi-generational trip, because there's a lot to do, and you can balance out the activity, like the level of activity versus the relaxation, with, so older family members who maybe can't do the parks, like from rope drop to closing, you can certainly have that ability, especially when you're staying on property, the ease of going back to your resort, relaxing and stuff. And plus, I think there's such a great balance of activities and things to do. And I think as grandparents and that are taking their families and their grandkids these trips, they love seeing the magic and the sparkle in their grandkids' eyes when they meet Mickey Mouse or Minnie Mouse or their favorite princess, and I think that brings them so much joy. I know as parents, it brings us joy, but as a grandparent, I can't even begin to imagine the joy that that they experience given that gift to, their family members. I actually think it is a great option for families. You can do different room categories. You can all stay together if you want to, and depending on how many,
or not, if you don't want to.
If you need that break. I mean, I have some that are going and they're like, grandparents are like, look, I love my grandkids and I love my, but I want my own space at the end of the day. You want
your own space in the evening. Yep, that makes sense. Yeah. And I do think it's the Walt Disney World multi-generational trip is all about seizing the moment, and like your grandkids are only little, in that age range for so long, where the magic of Disney is so beautiful to experience. And also Walt Disney World is so incredibly accessible, and they go above and beyond for anybody with any kind of physical disability. So even if the grandparents can't walk really well, like there's scooters, there's all kinds of accessibility features, accessible rooms, like, I mean, they just really make it so that no matter what your physical capability is, you can still experience Disney and have an amazing time.
No, I agree. I 100% agree. So I think it definitely a great trip for your multi-generational vacation, family reunion or whatever it is that you're doing. I've done it. But I've done it with my cousins, so we've done it that way. So it doesn't always just have to be grandparents and
No.
family.
Yeah.
We've done it with cousins, like we do a girls trip, cousin trip every year.
Yep.
So
Yeah, we've
it's
done that
definitely
too with my sister's family. So all the
Mhm.
cousins can hang out together, and it is
Yes.
really fun. It's
Yeah,
fun.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So the next one I have is and this is probably one of my favorite options, is a cruise. And I've actually done this. Like, we've done a multi-gen trip that was a
Mhm.
cruise, where
Okay.
it was like my mom and her boyfriend and my family and my sister's family. So we had the grandkids and the aunts and uncles and the grandparents. And I think cruises are perfect for multi-generational travel.
I agree. There's so much to do on a cruise.
Yeah.
So many destinations that you can choose from. I've just been putting together a trip for a family that is a multi-generational trip to Europe on a
Ooh,
cruise, to the
yeah.
Mediterranean. So,
Oh, lovely.
and I see we're going to talk about bucket list when it
Mm,
comes to cruises, and it's a great option to cross destinations that have been on your bucket list.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
I agree. There's so much to do. People worry about, oh, I'm going to be bored on the ship,
Oh
or
gosh, no.
there's not enough to do. And trust me when we say there's so much for everybody. So
Everybody, every age, there's
yep,
something to enjoy.
whether you have family members who love going to Broadway style shows and
Mhm.
or watching all the shows because some of them have ice skating shows and
Oh, so
you know
much.
yeah
Yeah.
aqua shows and water
Right?
shows, all kind of things. And so whether you have people who are really into that or into activity or they want more thrills
Hmm.
on the cruise, it's all on the ship. And we didn't even touch on the destination of
Right.
the places you
Yeah.
get to go.
Yeah. Just the ship itself has something for every age. And you have the kids' clubs for the kids, and then lots of kid play areas with water slides and
Yes.
pools and things for the more adventurous family members. But then, maybe some family members would rather go hang out in the casino or go to a trivia or see a comedian. I mean, there's just so many activities on a cruise ship. And it's a nice multi-gen trip because it can be a lot to spend every waking second together. no
Yes, a
matter
nice
no matter how
balance.
much you love your extended family, it can be a
Hmm.
lot to spend
Hmm.
the whole time together. So it's nice
Yes.
on a cruise where you can kind of like pair off, or like everybody kind of does their own thing. But then you come back together in the evening and maybe have dinner together, or go out to a show together. So you can all have an amazing experience. And then, yeah, bucket list destinations are great for with cruises. Like, cruises are a really economical way to
Oh,
go to the
absolutely.
Mediterranean, or go to Alaska, or Hawaii and see all the islands. I mean, it would be really hard to do that otherwise, like as a multi-gen, like a big group trip for sure. So
Hmm.
I think that, if you're looking for a trip to go on with your family that's going to be like really wow and amazing, like those types of destinations are perfect for a cruise.
Oh, absolutely. And they're definitely going to be something that your family will be talking about for a
Oh,
very, very long time. I mean,
absolutely.
and what makes it nice with the cruise, like you said, it's very economical. You unpack once and you stop at these beautiful destinations, whether you're doing Alaska or Europe or Hawaii or even the traditional Caribbean,
Yeah.
cruise. You stop at these incredible destinations and then you think about the cultural, if I could talk, that you're exposing your family and your grandkids and young kids to every day. And Colleen and I talk about this all the time, that you're exposing your kids to outside of their bubble of their
Mm,
little town, and they
yeah.
get to see how other people live and experience it and try the foods and experience the different things that you get to do there and see
Yeah.
these amazing beautiful places. And I think that's a great way to share that in a
Mhm.
multi-gen trip. So
Absolutely, yeah. And even in the ports, you can either do your own things,
yes.
or plan a group, type excursion where you're all going and having a shared experience somewhere. And cruises again are also very accessible. for anybody of any physical capability, and they really do a lot to make sure everyone has an amazing time on the cruise.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So the next vacation idea I have is an all-inclusive resort,
Ooh,
which
yes.
is kind of similar along the lines of a cruise, where it's like you have this amazing resort with tons of activities. You're just not going to different destinations, you're just staying in one, but it still has that all-inclusive, something for everyone. No matter what age you are, no matter what you're into, there's probably some activity or something to do that you're going to enjoy.
No, I agree. An all-inclusive to me would be like a more chill, more relaxing type
Absolutely.
multi-gen. But it can be active because you can do some excursions that get you out into the islands and make it very immersive and have some really great experiences and be able to experience the culture there. But I agree. I love it. You can have dinner together, you can also do your own thing. A lot of the resorts, there are some amazing resorts, and I think we're going to talk about this next time on actual places and things to actually consider for like destinations. I think that's what we're going to be talking about next time. More detail on the resorts, I think is what I'm trying to say. And I think there are some islands that are better for generational trips versus not. And there are some resorts that are better versus that are not. So, so I think it's important to really work with a travel advisor to kind of work through what is best and what isn't.
Because there's a lot of options. I mean, there's really a lot of options. So it's important,
market, yes.
To be able to narrow it down, and the travel agents can help with that.
But there are great things to do. I mean, a lot of great things to do. Like we said, you could do shore excursions if the guys all want to go fishing. I don't know, maybe some girls want to fish. I'm not a fisher person. I'm not into fishing. I grew up doing it. I mean, I know how to fish, but it's not my thing. So you could do fishing excursions, and the ladies and the people who love the spa, which would be me, could go relax at the spa. And and they have kid clubs there too. So
they have the kids clubs. You want to do an adult only
dining, you can do something like that, and the kids can go
golfing. Golfing is a lot of all-inclusive resorts either have a golf course like right there, right next to it, or nearby, and a lot of some brands even include greens fees are included. So you can, there's a lot of activities, but you're right, it's definitely, it's got a lot of the same perks as a cruise, but it's more relaxing and laid back, I think.
It's a little bit more chill, I think, than I mean, a cruise can be super chill and laid back, but I think it's a little more active compared to an all-inclusive.
When you're stopping at the ports and stuff, depending on what your ports are. But all-inclusive resorts are just, I love them. I think they're just like the ultimate kind of beach vacation. And I think
if that's what you're
easy to do a multi-gen trip to an all-inclusive resort. It's just a great choice. So I also wanted to mention Hawaii, because I've also seen that. So Hawaii in general, I feel like has been a trend the last couple of years where a lot more people are like, it's like this. I mean, Hawaii has always been an amazing destination that people have wanted to go to, but I think it's like starting to get hot again. Like it's like, ooh, Hawaii, like let's go to Hawaii.
Yes.
And I've had a few multi-gen trips to Hawaii, and it's kind of the same idea as an all-inclusive where you want to go on like maybe a beach vacation, tropical, exotic. But Hawaii is one of those like once in a lifetime bucket list places to go. And I think a lot of families want to experience that together.
No, I agree. I think Hawaii is becoming a super hot trend. And I can't wait to experience it personally. And I don't know, like 4 or 5 months here. And so it definitely, I agree with you. I think it makes a great trip because more often than not, Hawaii is going to almost be a one-time, once in a lifetime vacation. And so I think as a multi-generational trip, it's perfect for that because you're going to go and you're going to experience all these wonderful things
Yeah.
in Hawaii, and definitely something people will be talking about for a long time. So
Yeah,
it's
there's a lot.
beautiful.
And the resorts there are great, regardless of which island you go to. And this is why it's important to talk to one of the travel agents at Mystical Dream Travel, because Hawaii, there's a lot to unpack with Hawaii, because there's different islands, there's different things on
Yes.
different islands, depending on what you want to see. You can do anything from renting like more like a condo, like if you want to have a kitchen and all stay together, or a villa, or you want to stay at more of a resort that has like a ton of amenities. And there's cultural things in history, Pearl Harbor, and learning about the Hawaiian culture. So there's a lot. There is really a lot you can experience in Hawaii, that's appealing to people of all ages, I think. So, but you've got to like really know what it is you're most interested in to like help plan that trip, because there's a lot to choose from. There's a lot of options.
Yeah, because the islands are all different and they're all
Right.
unique.
And they're spread
And
out, it's not like
yes.
necessarily easy to like go from one island to another, because they're not close, not super close.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that they have a lot of uniqueness to them. And so like you said, you really need to understand what kind of vacation you want in Hawaii
Yes.
To experience. And this goes back to a cruise. I'm going to circle back around to a cruise, because there is a cruise from Norwegian Cruise Line that actually goes to a good
Yes.
bit of the islands, and you can experience. It's a great way to experience all the islands.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And go around and have some different experiences and stuff. So I highly recommend looking at that. If that's something you want to do, it's probably the most cost-effective way to see that.
I think, yeah, to do like a week, if you want to go to Hawaii for a week and see the most of the islands as you can, the cruise is the way to go. Because otherwise it's hard when people want to island hop and stay at resorts. I usually say, if you're only going for a week, I'd limit to 2 islands. Like, you don't really want to do more than that.
A lot, yeah.
Because there's a lot of travel time. You got to pack all your stuff up. You got to book a flight from this island to that island. So there's a lot more logistics involved than with the cruise. But the cruise is great, because then in the night you're moving from one island to another, and then you wake up in a new island.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, I mean, the agents of our Mystical Dream Travel, quite a few of them are Hawaiian specialists. So you really want to make sure, like Colleen mentioned, that you work with an agent there, because they can really help you narrow down exactly what it is you're looking for on a Hawaii vacation. But I think it's an awesome vacation.
I think
it's awesome.
That would be a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more options. I think that makes sense for multi-gen. It really depends on your family and what your interests are, and what kind of experience you want to have, who's going, what are the age ranges. There's a lot to consider. But this is just like a really good overview of places I think would be a really good fit for multi-gen. But I am curious to hear from our listeners. Let us know, like, where would you want to go on a vacation with your extended family, or have you been on a multi-generational trip, and where did you go and what was it like? Is there a place or a vacation option we didn't talk about that you think is perfect for like a multi-generational trip? And let us know in the comments. And we love to hear from you. And next time, like Tina said, we're going to do more of a deep dive into maybe some specific vacation options that we think are the best, that would really be like the best options for a multi-gen trip. And we're going to continue this series over the next few months. And our multi-generational travel series is going to be airing the last Thursday of every month. So be sure to come back and check in for the next episode, the next installment of our multi-gen travel series. And until next time, we hope all of your travels are magical.